when people meet somebody and they see their online persona and they immediately believe, oh, this is who they are. No, they're not. Public perception controls a lot of what celebrities say and do. This is why I fucking love this space. Maybe this is why I'm not rich, right? I don't play by these rules, right? I say how I feel. I say in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. If you're watching this on video, everything I got on is from Secret Society, SERTSOCIETY.com, the best high-end fashion basics line that's actually affordable for what you get. And we have my co-host Ed Park, VP, here today, who is working on car shit, which, dude, I need you to post more stories of your process.
Oh, really? Okay. Because I'm just like we were talking about before, I'm actually insecure about it. That's why I don't post them much.
And look, I will say this, right? And I say this to people who are doing social media for fun. Who cares?
Okay.
Who the fuck cares? Like, there is no expectation of you to create anything particular. So you are actually in the space that everybody would love to be in. Mm-hmm. Once you reach a certain level of success, people expect a certain product from you at a specific time, and that's the only thing they care about. That's the only thing they want to watch.
All right.
You do anything else outside of that, you deviate, they start demonizing you. They go, "Well, I don't give a fuck about this shit." Well, right now, you can do whatever you want. The world is your oyster.
All right.
So just post. Because right now I'm seeing the end product, but I don't see the process. Right, okay. I'm like, what the fuck is the process?
Right. All right, then. Follow Manga Miata. Because I'm going to draw some lines, like big fat black lines on it to make it look like it's drawn out of a manga. Mm-hmm. So Manga Miata, actually, if you want to.
Yeah.
Get that right. But yeah, I'm learning. I'm getting more confident about it. Like, I used to be really scared to fucking touch it. But now I don't have a fucking problem lifting it. I can take the fucking wheels off. I don't care about fucking undoing a bolt. If I strip something, I'm okay with it too. I'm like getting down and dirty with it. I have to cut my nails super short because they get so gross. And I'm like, great.
That's the same thing with farming too.
Yeah, I love it. So I just had to register for classes. I'm already set up for winter and spring semester. And yeah, I'm excited actually because I'm like, I don't know, like, I'm doing cool stuff with video too, you know, but I just don't want to do this shit anymore.
I think that's what I love about what you're doing now is because the stuff that you're learning in school is actually applicable immediately.
Yeah.
It's not theory. It's not, oh, in theory, if I use this to do this, maybe it'll work. No, it's like, no, this is this, and you could apply it right now.
Yes.
Which is so fucking cool, right? And I know people think I'm bullshitting, so this might have been a high conversation, which I really do believe this. Some people, who the fuck was I talking to? But I said randomly, I'm like, if everything disappeared, or let's say I made all the money in the world that I could, right? Would I still podcast? Yes, I would still podcast.
Yeah.
But for work, they were like, what would you do? I'm like, well, I only need to work for my own entertainment purpose now. The first thing I would do, I would go work in the food industry. I want to be a server. I've never done it before.
Yeah.
I want to be a waiter.
Yeah.
Like at a regular diner and then maybe at a high-end restaurant too, just so I could feel it out. And the reason why is because I'm an introvert, but I like watching people.
Yeah.
I like studying people. And when you are a server, it's literally about manipulation. It's like, how do I game this person to give them the best experience that they've ever had?
Right.
So I walk away with a fatter check.
Yeah.
And it's just a fun game. Every person is different, and you have to figure this out every time you're at a new table.
Yeah.
Do these people want me to talk to them more? Do these people want me to leave them the fuck alone? Do they want me to just come intermittently? And I have to figure out these social cues in order to make my paycheck fatter. And I find that to be a very exciting thing.
You need to go to the middle of fucking Wisconsin, right? And just get a job at a restaurant for like a month. Set up some cameras.
See how they treat me?
Yeah, and just see how it fucking goes. Because if you did it here, then everyone knows who you are.
Yeah.
But I just made an example out of somewhere, like somewhere where people don't know you, so you can just start doing this shit.
I just walk
and play that game. You know,
it's just a fun thing to see, right? Like, and I don't know if I think that's just the privilege that I have because in order for me to do this job, I would have to forego everything else in order for this to be fun. Most people, when they work service jobs, they do it in the beginning because it's a means to an end.
Yeah.
And I would be taking it from a different angle.
Right.
So it's like, maybe that's just how my mind works. My mind's a little weird.
So there was one time where at our gas station where I was already off, right? I opened the store, and so I was on my break. And when I do that, yeah, I take a fat toke out of my bong, in the back.
Yeah.
Because I was living in that trailer. So I'm off. And then my mom calls me. She's like, I need your help. You got to come. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm baked.
Yeah.
And so I come in, and there's this giant man. It's like 6'4", just huge, right? But he's got a bum leg. It's in a big cast. He doesn't even have a cane. He's just walking, and he's in a terrible, pissy mood, right? Just walking around, and like, I think he's yelling at his kids and whatever. And then my mom was like, just make sure nothing happens. And then, because I'm baked, I went up to him with a basket, and I said, hey, let me get that for you. And I started carrying it for him. And I walked with him around our grocery store, picking up shit for him. And then I checked him out, and then I carried his bags, and then I took it to his car. He's like, hey, man, I'm so sorry. I was just in a bad mood. Hey, it's all right, man. It's good, and he left. And then my mom was like, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back into my
Maybe I should be high more.
Yeah. Because before, oh, man, I've told a million stories. You've seen my Instagram, how much I butt heads with these motherfuckers and shit. But then, when you play that game of, okay, what if I didn't care about losing this fight, right? What if you played that game, And then, like, dude, I got what I wanted out of him. He apologized,
It's pretty insane. And I actually learned a big part of this because of Joe. Joe does this a lot.
Right.
Where, we talked about it. It was a story of where I used to live in that spot when I used to live in Arcadia back in the day. I had this Indian landlord who was a fucking cunt bag bitch.
Yeah.
I hope she's dead. I clearly haven't gotten over it. Right. And it was not just me who thought she was a fucking bitch. Everybody in the neighborhood hated her, and I didn't know until we left.
Right.
Because the neighbor confirmed this, and before we were about to leave, he was like, "Are you leaving because you want to, or for other reasons?" I was like, "Why? What have you heard?" He was like, "Well, she's not basically the best landlord ever, and we actually don't like her a lot. She oversteps her bounds." I was like, "Yeah, it's because of her. We don't like her." And they're like, they were so upset because they loved us as neighbors,
right?
Because we were quiet. We cleaned up after ourselves. We said good morning. We just, we were just really good neighbors.
Right.
And they were so mad. They're like, you were one of the tenants that moved in here that we actually liked the most. You guys were always the best. And I'm like, yeah, but we're leaving because of her. She's fucking impossible. Well, during this time, basically her place when we moved in, she didn't do anything. Didn't clean the place. Didn't put fresh paint on the walls. Nothing.
Yeah.
And so when we moved in, I was like, hey, the walls aren't done here. What the fuck? So I actually had to go and repaint the place and clean up all the trim. There was paint all over, and I took pictures of everything.
Yeah.
And I do that just in case because I know people are very dishonest. So we repainted the house a neutral color, which was an eggshell white. Mm-hmm. That's it. Just neutral all around. And she comes in, and before we're about to move out, she goes, "You ruined my house." I'm like, "What do you mean?" God. She goes, "I painted these walls myself." I was like, "I understand, but I was a fresh tenant, new tenant. You actually didn't paint the walls fresh at all. She goes, "They were perfect. They were done professionally." I was like, "Wait, you just said that you did it yourself. Was it done professionally or did you do it yourself?" And obviously she's like, glitching out. And then I was like, "Cool. I knew you were going to say that." So I sent her all the photos.
Yeah.
I was like, paint stains here, chipped wall here, this. I plastered, I fixed everything. This is all, and it was like 30 or 40 photos. I was that meticulous about it, of everything that went wrong before we moved in. And so she comes in, and then she brings another person who's like a property manager that she wants to hire. And so I was like, and I'm talking to this lady, and you could tell that her job is to make sure that she is on her side.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, listen, she wants me to repaint this house the way that it was before." She goes, "Well, in the contract, if that's the way that it was, it should be." I was like, "Can I show you a photo of it?" And I showed her the photos of how ugly it was. Blue wall, green wall, like yellow wall. And I was like, "You want me to paint it back to this? And do you think you'll be able to rent this out?" And she goes, "Give me a second." And she goes back to her, and she comes back and she goes, "Okay, well, I still think you're wrong, but you should." And I'm like, "Okay." at this point, I was going to go in on her ass, right?
Yeah.
And then, I had a conversation with Joe, and then Joe had this very, profound thing. He was like, okay, is the purpose of you wanting to fight with her is because you want to shut her the fuck up and show her she's wrong, or do you want your deposit back? I was like, I want my deposit back. He goes, well, then you doing that doesn't accomplish that. It just fulfills you just kind of doing a gotcha moment at her.
It's like, do you want to win, or do you want to like win?
Yeah.
Do you want to win the argument or whatever the fuck you're like, this petty part, or like on top?
So it completely flipped my perspective.
Yeah.
And that was a fucking huge moment for me where I'm like, okay, now I'm going to respond to her to get what I want. And so from that, I said, hey, look, the way that you did your home was, and I can't remember the exact words, but it was through an email. It's like, the way that you did your home, I thought it was beautiful, but it just didn't work with us. And I thought that for renting purposes, if it's just a simple color, it would be so much better, right? So how about this? I can redo your photos for you. So when you post it up, it's all done. You don't have to hire somebody else. I'm a professional photographer. I'm not. And I will and I will do that for you. What do you think about that? And she goes, oh, that would be really great. I sent her the photos. It was way better than her photos, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you think about these? Dude, after we left, she came to us, gave us the check for the deposit back. And she said, I many blessings for you and your wife. I hope that, dude, the sweetest fucking lady ever. Now, is she a unreasonable cunt bag fucking chutia fucking mother bitch? Yes, that is exactly what she is.
Yeah.
But in this conversation, I got what I wanted, and that is the important part.
Yeah.
I had to push my ego aside to understand there's a bigger picture to this. Do I want to feel right, or do I want to make the situation right?
Right.
And I did what Joe told me to do, and it fucking worked out, dude. And it was just a better situation. And I think that's the fascinating part about human beings.
Right.
It's like I could...
The psychological jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's so... And it was... The act was easy, but it was still very hard because of me, right? Because I wanted to slash her tires.
Yeah.
That was the original plan. I'm not even fucking lying.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm getting mad again. But either way, let's talk about something else. We're going to talk about this because as a Korean people, we should. Dude, the South Korean president declaring martial law.
A self-inflicted coup.
What
So stupid.
the fuck is going on over there?
It's so embarrassingly dumb. Like, what the fuck?
What was the reason behind it?
He is being investigated for a lot of corruption, like every other president before him, except for the last one with the fucking
The square face.
square face.
Yeah.
He was a decent president, I believe, right?
Certainly looked like a Minecraft character.
Yeah. But the president now is fucking slimy. His wife is slimy. They've been doing some shit that they should have been convicted of crimes, but because he was like the top prosecutor, not him. That's the square face dude. Yeah. Yeah. That's a turtle motherfucker.
I like how we describe them just by like their physical.
Yeah.
It's a turtle man.
But he was like the top prosecutor in the nation.
Yeah.
And he used this power to like fucking get his wife out of crimes and his friends out of crimes. Like some slimy shit. And somehow he became the fucking president. I mean, okay, I'm not going to say somehow because Trump's president now too. So yeah, they voted him. He's in the conservative party. But their parliament, like our Congress, is actually majority liberal. Party, opposition party, I guess. And so they actually are coming up with the papers to indict him, to impeach him, and he's backed into a corner.
Dude.
He fucking declares martial law and says, hey, they're all North Korean spies? Like, what the fuck?
It's one of the most Korean things a Korean man can do.
That's it's so impulsive.
It's hilarious, actually. Yeah. It's like, it's our dads.
Yeah.
That's the leader of a country.
Seriously.
It's like, hey, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Burn it all down. That's literally our dad.
야, 너도 죽고 나 죽고 우리 다 죽어.
Oh my gosh.
Like that.
Seriously. Like, fuck it all.
Yeah.
Like, let's make ourselves vulnerable to North Korea right now.
해봐! It's the most Korean thing a Korean man can do. He's just like, so I'm wrong? Okay. Okay, everybody die.
Yeah, we're concerned about fucking Kim Jong Un with the fucking nuclear.
This fool.
button. Yeah, this guy. Imagine if South Korea had nukes, he would bomb his own parliament. 우리 다 죽어.
그래? 내가 잘못했어? 내가 잘못했어?
This motherfucker's behind the wheel, like, oh, really? Fucking drive into a ditch.
If you guys don't know what martial law is, like martial law means that the military takes precedence over everything.
And it becomes a dictatorship.
Like that.
And then it all lasted all but 2 hours.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
If you,
and so what it came down to was, I guess the soldiers backed down. Something happened where the congressional members got into parliament and like 190 to 0 voted to shut down martial law. So people in his own party were like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. So nobody's on my side?
Yeah. Dude, he's going to get impeached real soon. So this is Korea's Jan 6. This is Korea's January 6, like modern January 6.
If you guys just had the time, right? Look up, just Google every single Korean president before this.
Since 1980?
Yeah, since 1980. And see how many times somebody has either been, there was a coup, an impeachment, an indictment. It's almost every president.
And a suicide.
A suicide, a scandal. It's every, I had no idea.
You know, I think 2 presidents since 1980 committed suicide in Korea. One of them jumped off of a cliff. Like, dude, like, I mean, it's so embarrassing in the way how corrupt our motherland country is, the country of our parents. But it's like, why can't they just get their shit together? Why they, when it comes down to it, they just want it all.
How is it that 90% of the fucking presidents all had a coup d'etat? Like every single one had a coup. How? How is it that you just take office and everybody's like, get the fuck out of here?
And meanwhile, North Korea's only had 2 leaders in our lifetime. 3 in total.
They're like, I think I do this all right.
It's like, hey, get your shit together.
Hey, communism is not so bad, huh?
Yeah.
Isn't that so bad?
It's so embarrassing.
I had no idea. See, I don't know. I wonder if people who lived in Korea, if you guys are watching this, can you write in the comments if you lived in Korea about your opinion about the Korean government? Because this is something I don't know anything about. Just going on Google and looking at every single like defunct and just evil, I won't say evil, defunct and corrupt politician that became the president, and the amount of drama that every single one went through is unreal.
Have you seen the Korean movie The King?
No.
It is the Korean Wolf of Wall Street. It's like based on a few like true stories, but it, you know, like Wolf of Wall Street is one guy in all of his craziness.
Right here.
In prison for corruption.
Imprisonment for, so let's see, what year is that? 1983, right wing, imprisoned for corruption. The next president, in 2002, accused of accepting bribes and committed suicide. 2007, imprisoned for corruption. 2012, imprisoned for corruption. 2022, prison for attempted coup. What the fuck is going on?
It's so insane. Like, if you see, there's this other movie called 12/12 The Day. It came out last year, actually. And it's about December 12th, 1979, right? And it's from that first president. He was a military general, and he committed the coup and made himself the president.
Oh.
There. So if you watch it and you see that the birth of modern Korean nation, whatever, even if it's democracy, is birthed out of massive corruption. Korean politics today, like, it's a shit show because it was conceived in a bed of shit.
I gotta learn more about like Korean history, dude. Like, I guess more in recent modern years, right? Because I don't know anything about this. Whenever we visit a country, we only get to see like the good side of things, which is what I prefer, right? This is just fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Korean politics.
Well, you know, before your baby You got to come over. You got to check out that movie too then.
Dude, like, you know what I always love reading the random comments, and I always wait for this whenever we talk about Korean anything, of just one angry Korean guy.
Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
You don't live in Korea anymore and then you say bad things?
Yeah.
What, you like the Japanese?
Yeah.
I remember those comments too. It's just kind of funny. Like,
There's every video has one,
yeah.
right?
Even the podcast where I talked about my missionary trip to Japan, there was a Korean dude who was mad at me for like speaking nicely about Japan.
Do you know what they did to us? Huh?
Oh, you want to go to heaven?
My harmony? She saw so much bad thing.
Yeah.
I like how this guy speaks English now.
But there were comments like, I do the translate, like, oh, this dude's pissed.
Yeah, they're fucking mad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what do you know about? And the funny thing too is that we don't even talk about Korea. We talk about Korean Americans, which is a culture they don't know anything about.
Yeah.
It's like we are the next generation of Koreans that came from Korea that fled Korea during a time of turmoil.
Yeah.
So we're actually very old-fashioned Korean. Whatever that Korea is very different from our Korean.
Yeah.
The way that we speak, the people that came over here are also very different from the people that stayed. They roughed it out, and then Korea became prosperous. So our perception of what Korean culture is uniquely ours. And they go, you don't know about Korean people. No, you don't know about Korean Americans, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, you're different. We had rooftop Koreans here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bow, 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 bow.
Yeah. Our culture, like, and our identity was birthed, like, by, hey, Koreans with guns. Like, we got to protect ourselves.
Yeah, it's just a completely different thing. And they get so fucking mad. It just makes me laugh so hard because they have to understand too. Well, I could read Korean, right? But what if I didn't? It's just you speaking into nothingness. You know? Sometimes it's just long fucking paragraphs. I have to read it very slow. And I'm like, what? 씨발.
화났어.
Yeah, 화났어? 야, 누구한테 지랄이야, 개새끼야. You know, I get so fucking, I just die laughing, and then, you know, I'll send it.
Oh, people like you exist.
Yeah.
They still exist.
Korean netizens.
Korean nationalist netizens.
Yeah, are fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah.
They are crazy. And like Korea, or just, let's not just say Korea, like Asia in general has a society that's built that leans towards these people. Like being recluse. Like, right?
Really weird.
Like
they have so much influence.
Yeah, they built an infrastructure where they actually control a lot, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Like public perception in Asia controls the majority. Like you can't have, I'm not sure how it is now with Korean pop stars, but I do remember back in the day, which is probably true till this day, where certain Korean pop stars weren't allowed to live their regular lives because it didn't fit within their idea of who they are.
Right. They're not allowed to date.
And they had to conduct themselves based on what public perception expected of them.
Right.
Which to me blew my fucking mind. If you guys know of this group, it's called HOT, right? The dumbest fucking name ever.
High five of teenager.
Yeah. I till this day don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
They just strung a bunch of words together because hot means 뜨거워. 좋아. HOT is a high pipe, is a cool. Bring it together. Teenager. That's what they are.
You know what the worst one is? Is Finkel.
Oh,
fine killing
liberty.
What?
What does that even mean, dude? HOT is aha. Is 우리 좋아. Okay, so HOT had one of these guys. His name is Munijun. Munijun was, I believe, in the group. He was the guy that did a lot of the choreography too. He eventually became like a rock personality.
Right, okay, I know that one. He was the ugly one.
He was, well, actually, girls thought he was the cutest. The girls thought he was the cutest.
Oh, okay.
One of the cutest in the group. So I remember Munijun because his face looked like a moon.
Yeah.
So Munijun, he had like a scandal back in the day where somebody assumed that he was dating somebody from another K-pop group.
Right.
So he immediately got hundreds of death threats to him and the girl.
And some people committed suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying that they would kill him, that they were going to kill themselves. And so they just was like, no, it's not true at all. Like whatever didn't happen. So these people weren't allowed to live their own lives. And imagine that. You as a fucking adult have to be a certain way because the public says that this is who you are, right? And I would get to arguments with people. Even on this show, we would talk about like BTS or whatever. And remember, all these scandals started popping up. Well, not BTS. What is the other one? Big Bang,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Fucking sex trafficking rink.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can't believe. Why can't you? Don't know these people, right? They go on these shows where their PR team teaches them since the moment that they were born, because they have been indoctrinated into this thing of how to speak in public, how to get people on your side. 안녕하세요. You think that's how they talk to each other in private? Like, they do all that other shit.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of these people. I met people in this group called DBSK, 동방신기, right? They don't remember me.
Yeah.
But I remember a couple of these guys. Genius Brain listeners, this podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp has been a long-time sponsor of the Genius Brain podcast, and for a good reason too, because I use it, and guess what? You should too. Mental health is mental wealth. It is not something that you should push aside. And look, it's December. It's time to get cozy. So let me ask you, how do you stay cozy during the winter months? For some, wrapping up in a blanket with a mug of hot chocolate or watching a movie with family is the best way to spend the month of December. Therapy is a great way to bring yourself some comfort that never goes away, even when the seasons change. And listen, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. And that's the convenience that I really, really love about BetterHelp. Not everybody is a one-size-fits-all, and you can switch out your therapist if you know he or she doesn't really vibe with you. And I really, really appreciate that. So find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/genius today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/genius. You guys remember this. I mentioned somebody on this podcast who was a piece of fucking shit, and he was at Com.
Yeah.
Coming up to women and just grabbing them. And then me and another dude was like, yo, you can't fucking touch women like that. And he was like causing a fucking scene. It was that guy.
Right. So he's in jail now.
Yeah, he's in jail for like sex trafficking.
Damn.
It was that guy.
Yeah.
And guess what? People were like, you don't fucking know this guy. You don't know shit. I met him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was at a it was the one that you were at. You were Oppa.
Yo, that one, yes. At the fucking Madang.
Yeah.
So what he's talking about, essentially, like girls going crazy, screaming over these dudes, and then when it dies down, they're about to sing their song. I just, Oppa, in the back. Yeah. I just ruined the fucking mood. I don't know. I was an asshole, but anyway.
There was a girl going up the escalator to the second floor watching, and she was crying. I've never seen somebody cry because they met them.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you get to see. When people's image is so refined and neat, just know that they're probably the biggest piece of shit that you ever met in your life. Not all the time, but for me, that's typically what I found out, right? And so when people meet somebody and they see their online persona and they immediately believe, oh, this is who they are. No, they're not. Public perception controls a lot of what celebrities say and do. This is why I fucking love this space. Maybe this is why I'm not rich, right? I don't play by these rules, right? I say how I feel. I say what I think, and I'm okay about being wrong. And guess what? I think most people, when they listen to this podcast, they understand that, yeah, I feel that way too. I wouldn't say it out loud, but that's also how I feel.
Yeah.
Most people aren't going to do that, right? And I think it sucks that in Korea that Mariel and I had this conversation too, where she goes, hey, let's say everything works out well for you. All the business stuff that you do pops off one day and, you know, we become millionaires, right? Not like super rich millionaires, but I have the ability to live anywhere. She goes, would you, if we have a kid, would you move us to Korea? I said, look, visiting there was great. I felt a part of the culture.
Yeah.
Right? I love how innovative Korea is. I love how futuristic it is. I love this sense of like, of national togetherness where people have like a certain pride of their country. I love all that stuff. It's fucking fantastic. But would I go there? And simply for one thing, and then probably there's a multitude of reasons of why you wouldn't want to go to Korea to live there. There's a reason why people leave Korea to come to other places, is that I don't like society dictating how I should be.
Yeah.
Right? To a certain extent.
Yeah.
I follow societal rules, but I don't like it to the point of if I dress a certain way, if I look this, if I say that, suddenly it's like, you're embarrassing us.
I went to Korea in 2009 and I had long hair, right? And I met up with a friend and she was like, It wasn't even on the plan. She took me go to a fucking barber and got my hair cut. She was like, haven't you noticed how everyone's staring at you? Because you look like crazy, dude. Get a haircut.
Yes, it's that type of shit.
I'm like, I don't give a fuck. She was like, you
tongue
stick out.
tongue
Yeah,
pierce.
tongue pierce. And I'm like, fuck, fine. I got a fucking haircut, and then I look like a fucking lesbian. You know? Like,
and she's like,
that's so much better.
She's like, but Ned, you look like a dyke now.
So I'll see you later. You know how long I was growing that shit, man? It was sun-kissed from Iraq, so that's how long ago it was.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a nice natural brown. Anyway, like, I was so upset about that.
Yeah.
Because of that shit. I was like, you know what? Next time, I don't give a fuck. Like, that pressure, like, we grew up with that in church, too. Like, why am I...
But now it's the whole country.
I don't know. Yeah, the whole country.
Right?
You know?
Well, somebody who's old, you have to call him Hyung. I don't want to call you Hyung. Bitch, I don't fucking know you. I'll call you by your first and fucking last name, ho.
Dude, I was with this missions group. This one motherfucker would always eat the shit out of my plate of something I ordered. Because in Korea, it's like, you know, the pot's in the middle and you kind of go in. But they were constantly taking me out to places that has entrees, like, you know, Western style.
Yeah.
But this motherfucker kept eating on my plate. I just want to, like, sock him in the face. Like,
yeah.
Stop stealing my food. Like, but, you know.
And look,
what
I say that I don't like about it is honestly probably stuff that they like about it.
Yeah.
They like that togetherness. They like this type of hierarchy. It's just something that I didn't grow up with and I don't like. This is why I like America.
Yeah.
Right? I do enjoy society setting a certain standard of civil rules.
Yes.
Right? In order to be a civilized human being.
Unwritten rules that
everybody should follow.
Yeah.
I got it. And other countries have different ones. That's just one that I don't really vibe with, right? I want to be able to walk outside, go to a store, like a nice to see you or whatever, and be in my pajamas and nobody look at me differently, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, he's just in his pajamas. In the United States, you could do that. If you walk out to a store and you're like in your robe because you gotta get something really fast, nobody looks at you. Nobody bats an eye at that.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, they probably just woke up. They needed to get something real quick, and that's why they're here.
Basketball shorts is just casual.
Mm-hmm. It's just casual. I wear basketball shorts all the fucking time. In Korea, I didn't. And you don't want to know why? Because Muriel wouldn't let me.
Right.
Because she didn't want the stares.
Right.
She didn't want people to judge us as a couple together with me looking like a bum while she puts on her best, which I understand. That's why I did it. But in all honesty, it was hot. I would be in a t-shirt, basketball shirts, and some comfortable shoes because I'm traveling.
Yeah.
But of course, I have to be a part of that society, so I follow those rules, and I'm completely okay with it. I just don't want my kid to grow up in that.
So, one of those things, like when I was in Iraq, I would go out for a jog, right? But after a week, the guy whose house I was staying with, he was like, "Hey, you can't do that anymore." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You can't go outside in shorts and a tank top and run. You look like a crazy man." Like, dude, these people, what Iraq locals see is some Asian guy with long hair running, like with barely clothes on. They don't know what that is.
Like, what did you steal?
Yeah, they're like, they think you're a crazy man. You can't do that. I know you want cardio. They say you can't do it. He said you have to go to the soccer field if you want to do
like
that.
a designated area for that.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying too. It's like, and like I said, it's not a judgment about how other people live. It's just the question is, would I go to Korea for that? I think there's also other things that other people have told me who grew up in Korea, why they like America so much better, that I don't want my kids to grow up in.
Freedom, baby. Be what you want, do what you want. Yeah.
I also don't like the president doing a military coup, trying to put martial law for 2 hours.
And then you just like live under like a, what the fuck? Like, dude, they tank their like economy like in a second.
Yeah.
What a
Which is fucking crazy.
Idiot.
It's like, aren't you supposed to care about the livelihood of the country? Are you fucking insane, you maniac?
Oh, he's going to jail.
Yeah, and by the way, America has a huge set of problems as well. So the opposite could be said about us as well. But
I mean, that's the opposite, sincerely, because Donald Trump got reelected as president, and we have a January 6th, and they got a coup. I mean, like, shit. I don't know. We live in quite a time to be alive.
Yeah, I will say this.
Read this in the history books.
You know, when we look at the let's be honest. I didn't say this before on the podcast. There was no way Kamala Harris was going to win.
She wasn't going to win.
It was a shit show on the Democratic
The
side.
vibe, the excitement for Donald Trump was something else.
Yeah. It was, first of all, it was too last minute. I don't think a majority of people wanted Kamala Harris there in the first place.
The man survived an assassination attempt.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
And then on top of that too, we're in the age now of like technology and information, right? So people are tired of the serial politician, and that is what she was.
Yeah.
Right. And so what happened was, in my personal opinion, I wonder if people feel this as well, there was a lot of people, such as myself, I'm a moderate, right? I'm not saying I leaned over to him or not, but a lot of people who were moderate that I knew that were straight in the middle went over to this side because they got tired of this shit that they've always seen constantly.
Yeah.
And I think the Democratic Party, from my outside perspective, alienated the people who believed in them and pushed them to that side, because it wasn't a close election, right? It wasn't a close election at all. So that if people want to take a step outside and look at that, they have to, like, for the Democratic Party, they have to go, where did we go wrong here? How did we lose all of our support? And I think that was a very telling thing. I don't think a lot of people believe in Donald Trump. I think they believe in the people that he's hiring.
Yeah.
People like Vivek, people like JD Vance, people like Elon Musk, people like RFK, people like Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard and RFK, what were they?
Democrats.
They were Democrats.
Yeah.
So now the people who were moderate or people who were Democrats who believed in these people who were part of their party have gone to the other side. They're going to follow them.
And what is their sense of what is their, I don't know, their mood, their energy, what their feeling is going back to normal, right? Is what they're saying. Like on news, things are gonna be all right. They feel this way, right? And it's like, why? From against what? Like, what was so terrible about the Democrats? And the crazy thing is, look, not saying it with any bigotry or anything. I'm just saying, I believe trans people should have rights. They should live with every pursuit of happiness that they should be afforded to them, right? But I also don't believe that they are the greatest social issue we have in our nation.
Yeah.
They are not the number one issue we have going on.
Yeah.
And somehow this election became a part of that.
Yeah, I think their tactics for how they were trying to grab people was misplaced, right? They put a lot of emphasis on things that the majority of the average American don't really think about, right? It's not stuff that they really care about that much.
Yeah.
And so border control was a huge thing, right? And I think that what they did right on this side was that they addressed issues that the average American wanted to hear about and talk about, and they said that they were going to fix. Like, I mean, we're gonna have to wrap this podcast up because we have to do another one, but just like something small where you have Vivek Ramaswamy, right? And also Elon Musk teaming up to create this entity, Doge. Right? Which is the Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah.
They laid out how much stupid government spending that there is, and they also laid out that our own government failed their taxes. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got audited 7 times, and they failed every time.
Dude, CIA has lost trillions. The military misplaces billions all the time.
Which is unreal. And they're asking simple questions. Where did this money go? What does this department do?
Why did this hammer cost $50,000?
They go, don't know.
Yeah. Why is this toilet seat $10,000?
Right? And essentially what the government...
This box of nails was like $900.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I like that Elon Musk said that I never really thought about, he goes... because I think he does a decent job of explaining things in layman terms for people like me, where he goes, the government is essentially a business. It makes money, right? But it's a business that is unchecked, that cannot go out of business, whether it makes profit or not. So we're losing trillions and trillions of dollars. But guess what? The government doesn't disappear because it's a failing business. It still stays.
Yeah.
So we have to go in and fix that. And they're saying that they could do it in 4 months.
Yee.
Crazy, right? So if that does happen,
Twitter still exists after he fired 80%.
it was
people. Look, I still think it was really, what do you call it, tone deaf to show up to a Chappelle show afterwards when a majority of the people that went to the show were former employees.
Yeah.
He deserved his booze there. I also think he's a piece of shit human being. I don't think he's as smart as he think he is. I think he's a liar, but I do think he knows what he's doing. Right?
Especially when it comes to that job,
Yeah.
right?
So I'm not concerned.
Yeah.
Like just because he's an asshole.
Like Twitter
Yeah.
losing that, I mean, that was the narrative, right? Like
Yeah.
you fire 80% of these people, the company's going to go down, and watch, Twitter's going to be gone within a month. And it's profitable. It wasn't profitable before. It became profitable.
I don't know about that either. Right now, whatever X is not a place for advertisements. Right now. I did see a shift because even when I interacted with some shit, because, okay, so for example, there was a Mia King post. Mia King is Khalil Roundtree's wife.
Yeah.
Something about some feminist quote. I don't know. Who cares? Well, there's like an anti-feminist quote after that about women need, men because they can't do shit for each other.
Yeah.
I posted after that a photo with her and her husband, and her being her own, right, a model and an MMA fighter. Her husband was on a crazy win streak at the time and whatever. The replies I got after was, typical, she goes and marries a black guy. It was racism. After that, it was so much delirious trash, and I was regretting the fact that I was getting so much traction. Like, I don't want to go viral on Twitter ever.
Yeah.
Because that interaction there is so toxic. As I run back to Instagram, it's funny. That's where they kept it funny,
Yeah, but I think Twitter is profitable now, though. Like, that was the main thing when he bought it. It wasn't a profitable thing.
I heard different, but I don't know. It's not important to me.
Yeah.
But still, Twitter to someone like Elon Musk, even though he's like there on the daily, he's got other huge things going on.
Yeah.
Tesla and fucking rocket ships.
Yeah.
That this app is like a small part of everything he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, whether it's profitable or not, isn't his concern. It's what it's going to be in the future, in about 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And how it's going to be incorporated into everything he does.
I mean, for me and X, I don't use it. So
Right.
I rarely used it back then, and I rarely use it now.
I still love scrolling.
Yeah.
You know,
Not me. I just never liked that space in general because it's when people are allowed to communicate like that, it's always complaining.
it's one of the most toxic social media platforms.
Yes, it's just too much complaining.
Yeah.
So it used to be about jokes and fun little things here and there. It's just all complaining, right? And then, they opened up that app called BLUESKY. And I was like, oh, this might be a new Twitter where we could start fresh. It's worse than fucking X.
It's Threads then.
Huh?
How's Threads?
Threads is way worse.
Really? Okay.
Threads is 10 times worse than both those two.
It's like the liberal version of
So BLUESKY is it's weird because they go BLUESKY is the liberal version of X, right? But I don't think X is right wing or liberal. It's just algorithmically whatever you want to see. Because I see hella liberal shit on there and I see hella right wing shit. So
on X, I get both sides for sure. Extremes.
BLUESKY is only liberal stuff. And I didn't know that. When I opened it up, I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? I was kind of shocked. So the when people said that BLUESKY is the antithesis to X, it's not. BLUESKY is an echo chamber like a motherfucker.
Okay, it's a new Tumblr.
Yeah, it was like kind of shocking to me because I just didn't know what it was about. I was like, oh, isn't it going to be a new fun app? And I opened it up. It's all complaining and it's all hyper left-wing liberal shit. I'm like, what the fuck? It would be fine if there was other stuff mixed in, but that's not a space where you're going to hear opposing ideas and thoughts and there's no fact checking. So when I went to X, I still don't like that platform that much very, very well at all. Threads is even worse because Threads rewards you for saying sensational shit. You could actually get paid. So the more clicks and stuff that you get, so you'll see stuff on Threads where you'll read something that's the stupidest fucking thing ever that incites anger.
Right.
And then I started reading these comments where I finally read a comment where a girl was like, I thought this would get more traction. I need to start making money. And I'm like, what? And I Googled it. So Threads started doing incentive programs like Instagram does because it's the same app.
Right.
So the more clicks you get, the more money you get. So people are just saying the most salacious shit just so people could read and react to their stuff. So Threads is literally the worst fucking platform I think that has ever existed. It's fucking garbage. Well, guys, that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain podcast. What do you guys think about South Korea's president? We talked about a lot of fun things. Secret Society, SCRTSOCIETY.com. Fashion basics for everyone at a fair, reasonable price. That the quality is super high. You can catch Ed at Ed Park VP.
Manga Miata. I'm starting on some new shit.
And Manga Miata. Genius Brain every Sundays at 12 p.m. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.